signs. We are about to celebrate 2022. I hope that 2021 treated you as well as, as well as possible, as well as all things considered. I wanted to take a look at overall themes for water signs, Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer, for overall themes for this upcoming year. Spirit asked me specifically to look at you folks first, twice. Asked me to look at you folks first, twice. So, I do want you to know that these are super generalized readings, even if they're more specifically to your signs. These should be your sun, moon, ascendant / rising, or your Venus signs, right? And of course, if you're cross-watching, that's great too. But it may not, some of these messages may not resonate, and then it may resonate for others, okay? So let's just keep that in mind. So before I got into when I was trying to get general sensations for what this upcoming year was going to be like for the different elements, I got from Spirit that you really should be focusing on your connection to Spirit and your ancestors, to becoming the best version of yourself, your Dharma, if you will. Therapy may be a thing for you this year. For some folks, this might be a challenging year for you at home and with your romantic partner, okay? And if it is great for you, that's fantastic. But otherwise, I do want to emphasize that connecting to Spirit and your ancestors is going to be really key to doing well this year on a spiritual and emotional level. So I'm going to find a place to put my phone, and we're actually going to get into your reading. I was going to allow Spirit to select the decks first. I'm feeling the Sufi deck, or I should say the Sufi Wisdom deck. Before I officially get started, let me do just a little bit of a sound bath for you folks. Thank you, Spirit, for this reading. Sufi Wisdom deck is fantastic for gentle, honest advice. It has come through me on multiple occasions. I love this deck. Spirit says no more shuffling. Let's take a look at these first three. Do not be frustrated. Let go and be peaceful. Return to joy and happy life. Live a less guarded life. So right away, sorry if I bumped the mic, right away, I feel like this past year has already sapped you of, I don't know whether how much you enjoy life anymore, based on what I'm seeing on these cards. This year is really going to challenge you in how you find happiness in yourself, first and foremost, right? And then in your external circumstances later. Returning to joy may be kind of a tower moment for you folks. It might be a shock. It might be catastrophic. It might shake the very foundations of everything you believed in, possibly, right? It might shake the foundations of your home life. And you're still being asked to let go and be at peace throughout this whole process. And in fact, this is going to bring you a much happier life, this letting go process. Spirit's saying a little bit more. Let's move on to something else. Instead, can we move on to, this is the Uncertain Oracle. Spirit says just a little bit, 3. There's 1. Small magic. So this would tie back into you connecting back to your ancestors, connecting back to nature specifically. When I look at this card, I get a beautiful forest, for instance, and all the flora and fauna that you can find there. So serendipity, you could connect this to blessings in disguise. You will be letting go. It sounds like your frustration levels may hit kind of a breaking point for some of you folks. I hope not for a lot. But some of you folks, you may be brought to your knees this coming year. Let's do one more. Small magic is going to bring you some blessings in disguise, or it's going to bring you just some beautiful things out of the blue, too. You weren't expecting these wonderful things. That says home. So this is going to be tied to your home pretty significantly, and I'm not surprised, especially for the Cancer folks. That is popping into my head. Scorpio, before I started this reading, Scorpio has stood out especially strongly as far as this reading goes. At home, there may be some small things that come through this year, and it might be helpful to keep track of the things that you feel most grateful for, like the small things that come through, right? Sometimes like the smallest moments with family members are some of the most magical ones that we remember for the longest time. I did notice that on the bottom of the deck it said friend, and you might have an especially good friend or an especially good set of friends that will guide you through this year. So Spirit wanted me to take a look at the mantras associated with these 3 Sufi wisdom cards. Do not be frustrated is the first one. Okay, so this is your mantra for do not be frustrated. I am letting go of what disturbs me and causes me pain. I am determined to overcome the challenges that leave me feeling stuck, frustrated, and hopeless. I will be more open to my heart and to experiencing the joy of life. So what popped into my head was heart chakra. You might like to do a little bit of work with your heart chakra, and in general, just ask Spirit to clean your chakras in general, or do work to clean your chakras. Yoga, if you're not already into it, that might be something that you would enjoy. It's not for everybody, but for some folks, that might be fantastic. This past year, I noticed that Geminis were having a bit of a struggle. When I look back on some of the readings from other readers for the Gemini collective, it felt like this, for a lot of Geminis, this was a year of feeling stuck. And it feels like that energy is moving around to other signs this upcoming year, okay? So with that whole stuck feeling, you really are kind of gathering power to up-level yourself, right? If you use this in a way such as connecting with Spirit, connecting with your ancestors, you really can find a way to up-level yourself this coming year, even with all the frustration. So, returning to joy, let's take a look at that really quick. So, for this one, I am here in this world to experience joy. I dedicate a portion of my everyday life to turning off all technology and slowing the pace of my life. I celebrate the present moment and live in gratitude. So the gratitude journal, or just even like listing off one thing, you don't even need to write it down, right? Just think about one even small thing that you're grateful for this coming year. Also, turning off technology is difficult for a lot of us, right? We can say that social media is quite a bit of an addiction. I see people saying, when I turned off Twitter, when I deleted Twitter, my life got significantly better. And that may be something that you have to do this upcoming year, is take a bit of a social media hiatus. Maybe even avoid the news just a little bit. I don't know how bad the news is going to get in 2022. But definitely connect to spirit, connect to ancestors, and make sure that you stay in constant contact with them, right? Especially through this year. If it is going to be rougher for some and not for others, either way, it's always good to stay connected with those folks. They want the very, very best for you, especially the ancestors that mean well, right? Happy life. What's your mantra for happy life? Okay. This is where you let go of the idea of perfection. I remember this one, right? I've gotten this a couple of times. I am letting go of the idea of perfection. I feel love for everything inside me and intend to spread it around like the scent of roses. So Scorpio popped into my head just a second when I was reading about perfection. It may be that there's a Scorpio out there who struggles especially with making themselves measure up to standards that are a little bit out of reach, right? It is good to have standards, but reasonable standards, right? Everything in moderation is part of this. Sometimes it's not great to go hard all the time, right? So, what else can we do for the water sign spirit? Spirit saying Terra Mucha. Let's pull a couple of cards from Terra Mucha. Just a little bit of shuffling. Oh, is that the Sun card? It certainly is. Spirit saying shuffle these all back in, but no more shuffling, okay? You are going to be happiest when you reach out for help. So going back to that thing I said earlier about therapy, please do reach out for therapy, right? It's not the best fit for everybody, every single last person on the planet. But I do believe that it's going to work for a large majority of people, right? And there's a therapist out there for everybody. Please continue to keep trying, okay? As someone who has taken advantage of therapy on many occasions myself, this is going to help you, okay? I hope that it will. I hope that it will, okay? Find a therapist that works out for you. You can go in, you're going to find it help. You know what, with friends, I said earlier, with friends, that is also going to be tremendously helpful, but a therapist is going to be fantastic to help you process that on a level where you can get through it, right? Friends might be kind of overwhelmed with what you have to say, and this year, if you're going through a lot of stuff, they might be a little bit overwhelmed with what you're going through, right? And that's when a therapist can come in and give you more of a bird's eye view of what's going on. You're going to need to put down the burden. You're going to find the most happiness when you go for help, when you put down the burden. Okay, ambulances, fire trucks going by. Go for help, just like those folks, okay? We'll pray for those folks' safety. With the Six of Cups in reverse and the Page of Cups in reverse, you have not, whatever's happened in the past, it is not making you happy. And whenever something out of the past that, okay, when new stuff coming in that feels like the past, when that kind of stuff comes in, that's where you struggle and you say, I don't want this. It's going to be like that past situation back there. I don't want to even bother with that. And then that's when it sits you down, right? You're not the King of Wands anymore. Your fire is out. Your fire got blown out. Like there's some coward energy in there, and I really, really hate to use that word. But there's some of that energy going on here. This could be you in a situation with friends, family, a partner that the cowardice is coming from them. Dealing with the situation as it comes up, or you know what, you're sitting down because you just flat out don't want to deal with this anymore. You don't want to deal with the new situations coming in. They could hurt you like the past situations. Okay. With the Nine of Cups, in many cases, I feel like in this case, this could be drinking too much. I'm afraid that this year is going to be a challenge for some folks in the sense that it's going to push them into habits that were already a problem for some folks. And it just flat out becomes worse this year. I see you kind of struggling with that, I should say. Struggling to balance. I know that I want what's good for me, but on the other hand, this year hurts. And Spirit is asking you to pull over. You really, really, really need to stop and you need to rest every chance that you get, right? I really, really feel like therapy is going to be fantastic for a lot of you folks. Talking it out with trusted loved ones who have been there for you for a long, long time, that's going to help too. So you're going to be giving something up this year. I see you in the position of the man who is standing up, having to give stuff away somehow. This is going to be heartbreaking, and it's going to be isolating in many, many ways. This is going to give you quite a bit of wisdom. By the end of 2022, you are going to be a bit of a teacher when it comes to these kinds of situations. It is possible that some folks may have to give away things or let go of things. We are talking about letting go. May have to let go of things that they never expected to let go of. I hope that the heartbreak goes as quickly as possible, that it is as light as possible. I pray for healing for you as well. Spirit, would you like any more decks? Would you like me to continue to work with this? We're going to continue to work. Knight of Pentacles is in reverse, way, way too slow. In fact, ground to a halt, even. Either self-care of yourself, the divine feminine side of yourself, and we all have our own internal balances of divine and feminine, or I should say masculine and feminine. Okay. So definitely this is letting go of habits that possibly you haven't been taking care of yourself. You've been taking care of other people at the expense of yourself. That might be what's going on up here with the happiness and asking for help, putting down your burden, right? You've arrived. Now it's time to let it go. And quite possibly you've been holding on to this well past its expiration date. So this is asking you to nurture yourself before you nurture others in this case. And this has been ground to halt. I get the feeling since 2020, right? Around when things got kind of bad with COVID-19 is when maybe you just flat out said, I can come back to this later, but at this point it's not something you can put off anymore, right? You're being asked to let that habit go and to start new habits of self-care here. It can't grind to a halt anymore. Okay. I noticed that we have the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands in reverse. So it's not about gender, but somewhat about experience levels, right? So with the King of Wands being in reverse, you're not acquiring new knowledge, right? You're not giving people your knowledge. You're not acting anymore. With the Queen of Wands, you're not creating, right, with the knowledge that has been passed down from your boss, so to speak, the hierarchy above you. That's not creating. Again, the fire is all out. You're not doing for yourself. Maybe you don't think of yourself as attractive, and that may be what's going on with the Empress, is you have stopped seeing yourself as attractive, and you're being asked to see yourself the way that Spirit sees you. I see you scared to death to create, to act on something. This is paranoia, right? In this case, there might not be any sticks around you, and might not be anything to defend against, but there's still a fear with the King and the Queen of Wands' fires being out. You're afraid to take the leap of faith. Spirit will catch you. Spirit is nodding her head, okay? Spirit will catch you, regardless of their gender for you. They will catch you, okay, if you jump. Take the leap of faith. Along the same lines of the Four of Swords in reversed, the Hangman is in reverse. This could be about you hopping off of that tree. It's time to stop thinking. It's time to start doing. Or it's could be for some folks, you need to stay there a little bit longer. Or you just really, okay, yeah. Your Tower moment is coming. You really, really need to stop. And you need to stop what you're doing and listen to Spirit. Listen to ancestors about the best course of action for you at this point. This is possibly making up with some people that you shouldn't be making up with. Or these are people that you should be making up with, but this is not the right time. There's definitely a conflict here that's going to kind of, it is going to cause a pretty, it's going to be a disturbance for you. It's going to, again, put you at a complete stop. It is going to ask you to reevaluate pretty much everything about how you operate. Spirit says no more. What's the bottom of the deck? So this is the Knight of Pentacles, and here's the Page of Pentacles upright. So, okay, Page of Pentacles upright with the Ten of Cups. So you can head up to something, you can head up to your Ten of Cups right here. There's still some things that, with this being such a water-based kind of card, there's still some things that your intuition needs to lead you to. Spirit ancestors, right? But I do see, of course, at the end of major events, like this one, for instance, like this year maybe for a lot of you folks, new stuff is going to come through, right? I don't have the Death card in your spread, right? That might come up for somebody else, but it just flat out wasn't here. But effectively, this is going to be a massive transformation. Even on the Death card, though, there's a sun coming up in the far corner of the card to let you know that this is not the end. This is a transformation. This is the beginning of a rebirth. We all die, but not all of us are reborn. Some of us reach nirvana, right? Some of us are not born any longer. Eventually, that is what we're supposed to be getting up to, right? We take care of our divine feminine. Over time, we will ascend into godhood, right? The number of births is different for everybody. I do see something beautiful coming out of this for you and your family. If you allow Spirit to guide you through this kind of interesting, mysterious time where your more primitive instincts come out. Now, in this card, there isn't the crawfish, but I do know that Scorpio again comes out, and I know that that's not a crawfish for the Scorpio, right? But like related, right? They are related. That is something that I see that particularly Scorpio is going to go through this year. Extra prayers and love and healing to the Scorpio folks. Let's do a sound bath for all three water signs, but Scorpio especially. Water signs, I hope that your year is good, all things considered. If there's ever anything I can do for you in terms of a reading, please visit my website at fourwandsdivination.com. I would love to read for you. And this upcoming year, I have oracle card readings as well as tarot and Lenormand card readings. Take care of yourself, okay?